Now, if you've been watching our channel for a while, it probably hasn't escaped your notice that we ain't got a theme tune. So I suppose we should probably do something about it, shouldn't we? So what we need is some fancy music making equipment. That's a ZX Spectrum, human man. That ain't fancy music making equipment, is it? Still not really music though, is it, human man? Not gonna let this one go, are you, human man? Well, I suppose, as James Blunt once said, you've got to ask yourself the question, how does ZX Spectrum make music? Well, old Clivey boy, he gives us this function called beep. And what we do is give it a couple of numbers. The first one is how long you want the note to last for. And the second one is how far the note is away from middle C. So here's what the human man just programmed the Spectrum to play. It's a middle C and it lasts for a second. Let's try a more interesting example, shall we? Right, so here we go. Got a few more notes here. I suppose we should probably explain how music works. It's basically like the alphabet, but you only got 7 letters. Don't worry if none of this makes any sense. We'll just program it and you'll see what I mean. I'm using an emulator here just because it's easier to record the sound. I suppose we should probably talk about tempo and rhythm, shouldn't we? So looking at this thing up here, that means we got 120 of these things every minute. Well, 120 a minute, that's the same as 2 a second. Or in other words, each one of these lasts half a second. Well, I suppose we should probably talk about pitch now. Well, let's just look at one bar to start with. Let's look at this one here. That one right there. Right, so our first note is a C. And this C, well, that is a middle C. So the distance of middle C from middle C, well, that's 0. And then the next note, well, it's the same thing. So it's a 0 again. This next one, well, that's a D. That's the D above middle C. It might look like it's 1 above the C, but it's actually 2 above the C because we've got a C sharp in between the C and the D. Or a D flat, whatever you want to call it. And then our next note, well, that's an E, which is 2 above the D. Or 4 above the C. So the pitches in ZX Spectrum talk are 0, 0, 2, 4. Here's a handy little conversion chart. But you're probably thinking, well, what's this thing here? That just means it lasts for 1.5 times. So, if this one lasts half a second, this one lasts 0.75 seconds. You're probably asking, well, what's that one then? Well, that one, that's half of that one. So if that one lasts half a second, that one's got to last 1/4 of a second. And then we got this one here. Well, that lasts 2 of them. So it lasts a whole second. Now obviously, I'm a lazy slob, so I don't want to be converting music to Spectrum beeps manually, do I? I could use a human man, but he's lazier than I am. Look! He's not even there. Nah, what we need is a way to do it automatically. If only there was a file format that stored all this information in a really easy to read way. Bit dramatic, but yeah, anyway. So I wrote this sort of Python-y stuff here, and what this does is it takes a MIDI file and then it converts it into beeps. And then it uses this thing called ZMakeBass, link in the old description, to turn it into a tape file that ZX Spectrum can read. Let's have a look. What? Look at all them beeps. If you had to write that out by hand, you'd probably puke. Well anyway, let's see what it sounds like. That one. Let's load it. And... well, there you go. Exactly how Beethoven intended it to sound. Let's try some other stuff. Now, there are people out there that think you shouldn't mess with the classics. So, to avoid having a load of dog poo shoved through my letterbox, I rewrote the MIDI beat program so, well, it actually works properly now. The music sounds like what it's supposed to. Look, listen to this. Oh yeah, no, before we play it, I should probably tell you that I rewrote the theme for just one instrument. There you go. Now you can actually hear it. You want to use the real Spectrum? Alright then. Right, so, there you go. Music on a ZX Spectrum. Can't remember what it was we set out to do.
We ain't got a theme tune.
Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah, we were trying to find some sort of theme music, weren't we? Well, I don't know if we've done that. We just sort of messed around for a bit, didn't we? What's that, Human Man? No, Human Man! What about all your repetitive strain injuries? Oh, Human Man. What are we going to do here? Anyway, yeah. Suppose we better go now, before the Human Man embarrasses himself even more.
Let us watch as Jeff flies majestically in his portable toilet, propelled by nothing less than his own torrential diarrhea.